My name is Ricardo Estrada, and I'm going to be interviewing Mr. Harold Gordon, Holocaust survivor, for the California State Assembly Holocaust Memorial Project. So, Harold, tell me where you were born and where you grew up.
I was born in a small town, actually not such a small town, Grodno, Poland. It was a city of about 65,000 inhabitants, of which 30,000 were of the Jewish people, and the 35,000 were of Catholic persuasion, and we lived in peace most of the time. We got along well, lived side by side, respected each other, and I learned to speak Polish, and at home I spoke Yiddish. So it was just like I mastered two languages from the start.
Okay. How about your family? Tell me about your family.
Well, I had a father and I had a brother, and we lived in a very small apartment, actually one room. We had no running water, we had no toilet facilities, it was outside, and we were very poor, but so was everybody else, so we didn't notice the difference. We were just kids, we were playing soccer, going to school, until 1939, when Germany attacked Poland, and immediately took half of Poland, not that half that I was in, but then the Russians decided to come and take the other half. So I was in the Russian side. So during the Russian side for 2 years until 1941, I grew a little, and I learned to speak Russian because little children were going to school, and same school that I was going to, and we were free. We didn't have much, but it was enough. I was a pioneer. I was trained to be a communist. We all wore little red scarves with a pin called pioneers, so like Boy Scouts, and we had those agents come to indoctrinate us all the time, teaching us like a religion. And then in 1941, I think it was June, Germany attacked Russia. And when they attacked Russia, they went all the way to Stalingrad, and that's when it became very bad for the Jewish people, and not only the Jewish people, but many other nationalities.
What did you know about Hitler or Nazism before the war began?
I knew absolutely nothing. I was a little boy, 10 years old, and I was more interested in playing soccer and playing with my friends. I used to play on the street, and until my face was red and I was all sweaty, and Mother used to try to grab me to come into the house, and she told me if I don't wash my ears, potatoes will grow in my ear. So I used to have to wash my ears quite often.
Okay, and then when Nazis gained power, were you forced to wear the yellow Star of David?
Yes, not at first. It was very slick the way they did it. They said we want you just to register, just so you can get rations. Then they got all your information, and then they put out proclamations, and they say we don't want you to have radios or any transmitters or receivers, because they said the world is telling you a lot of untruth about us. So you put in your radios, give it up, and we will keep you informed. Mm-hmm. Anyone not giving up a radio would be shot. And they did the same thing with guns. And eventually they got all our information, they got our guns, they got...
When the war began, describe what it was like to be forced out of your home and you had to flee.
Forced out of my home?
Yeah.
Well, it was... How can I describe it? The Nazis came in the middle of the night. They took a block or 2 blocks, and they went into the houses. Everybody get up, take only what you can carry, and line up on the street. And trucks would come, and everybody goes on trucks. They would line them all up, and then they put them on a train, and locked the doors with a cattle train. And they took them to such places as Auschwitz, Treblinka, Majdanek, Buchenwald, Dachau, and that's where they gassed and burned them all. But nobody knew they were doing it. They kept it all a secret.
When you guys left, what kind of personal belongings did you and your family take with you?
Well, what I took is 2 or 3 pair of pants, two jackets, 2 shirts, which is very honest, a little suitcase. So we had to march a long way. So we lost it all, they took it away. They asked if anybody had any jewels or rings and earrings. They took that away before we got on the train. And once we got on the train, we were right out for Auschwitz.
So you and your family were taken to Auschwitz?
Well, actually we were separated. My mother was taken, and my brother and her family taken to Treblinka. And my father escaped from that, and then later on, my father and I were taken to Auschwitz.
Okay, and describe Auschwitz a little, its surroundings, what happened there.
Well, we didn't know where we were going in the train. We used to look between the cracks to see where they were taking us. We could see where we were going west, so I thought we were going to Germany to work for 3 days in a row. And after 5 days, we wound up in a place like Auschwitz, and it says Arbeit macht frei, and that means that work makes you free. The train was pushed inside, the locomotive on a hook, the gates were closed, command was given everybody out and everybody unload. We all lined up on a column of 5, and the crematorium was right there, only 50 feet away. And everybody began marching to the crematorium. But within about only 50 feet from the gate, a German officer put his cane around my neck, pulled me out of line. My father held my hand, so he came too. Then a few other people put him out of line. By the time they pulled 11 people out of line, the 3,000 were marched to the gas chambers, and they were gassed, and they later burned. Only 11 of us survived, went to Auschwitz, and we got a number on our arms.
After the war, describe your experiences, how you felt when you found out about...
Well, after the war, actually we escaped, my father and I escaped from a convoy from Dachau to the mountains of Tyrol, there to be executed by gunshot. And we escaped into a forest 3 days before the end of the war. And they were taken to Tyrol, they were all killed, they were all shot. 3 days later, we went out of the forest without food or water. We saw American tanks, and they took us into Munich. So we went with American soldiers, and we stayed with them for a year until the visa came through, where I can come to America.
Have you told your children or grandchildren your story, and how did they react?
I haven't told them the story at all. I was busy making a living and working. And then one day, about 1992, I was sick in the hospital with heart bypass surgery, and I told my wife Joyce that if I survived this surgery, I will write my book and tell my story, so others can learn from it and benefit from it.
Okay, and have you, and if so, how have you made peace with what happened during the Holocaust?
Well, it's a very good question. It was very difficult to make peace. I've always believed in God, and I wondered where was God? Was he on vacation? Or what was in another planet? And I had a very, very difficult time. I was angry at God. But then I came to terms this way. It says God made all the animals, all the birds, all the fish, all the bugs and bacteria and everybody, and bears and lions, and then he took an animal like us and called them people, and said, I'm going to make them a little bit different, and I'll give them free will, and let's see what they do. So because God gave everybody free will, then God cannot intervene and stop this and stop that. He wants to see what happened. You can always get rid of us. What my belief is, we're all born the same, we'll die the same, we all are the same. We all have unlimited freedom. I can do whatever I want, go wherever I want, until I touch you. And when I touch you, your freedom begins and mine ends. So you can do what you want, and I can do what I want. I wouldn't put my will on you, and I don't want you to force your will on me.
It's a great story, and it was a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you very much.